Hello weavers, Kathy from Rock Lake Weaving here. Today we're going to talk about measuring a warp on a warping board with multiple color changes. Someone asked about this recently, so I'm going to show you how I do it. Now as you can see, I've got everything set up. My warping board is on an artist's easel, and I've got a reed set across the bottom. Thankfully this is going to be a short warp, so I don't need those bottom pegs. The size of the reed doesn't really matter as long as it balances nicely, roughly in the middle of the warping board. Now you can see on top of the reed, I have my little weaver snips, which are always nice to have at hand when we're doing a lot of color changes. It saves your hands a little bit from breaking the yarn. And at the bottom, you can see that I've got my 4 cones of yarn that I'm going to be using today. As you can see, I've taken the yarns from the cones, brought them up underneath the reed, threaded them through the reed, and just hung the ends over. The important things here are that there's a little bit of space in between the cones and spools. They shouldn't be touching like this, but they don't need a lot of space. One other thing to consider is that you want the yarns to come up roughly in the middle of the warping board, not at the ends if you can help it, and you want a little bit of space in between. Now I've got 4 colors here. I've chosen to let 3 of them hang over the front and this one's hanging over the back. That's just for ease of use. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna choose the blue yarn, and to start, I just do an overhand knot with a loop just to anchor it on the first peg here. Then I'm gonna measure my warp, a couple of ends. We're just doing a couple of meters, just as you normally would, nothing special about it. And then when I come back up to the top, now I need to do a color change. So I'm gonna grab my snips. I'm gonna snip about 3 or 4 inches from the peg, and I'm just gonna let that yarn drop, leaving it hanging over the edge of the warp of the reed like it was. Now I'm gonna pull my next color up, and I'm gonna hold them together, and I'm just gonna twist my hand and tie a little overhand knot. Nothing special, doesn't have to be super tight, it just needs to be secure. I'm not pulling on it tightly or having a lot of stress on it. Then I'm going to continue on with my colors, and I'm going to keep on warping. Oh, now I need another color change. So same thing again. I'm going to snip it, let that end drop, grab the next color. If I hold it with a little bit of tension, I can spread it with my fingers, do a funky little twist like that. That's all there is to it. And off I go doing my next few ends.